All right. It's BarstoolBuddhas. It's that time again. We did make it back.
We're back.
And after this week, God, I don't know how that happened.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Humility. What a concept.
What a concept. So, we're going to talk about some things today. Going to be really interesting. And we could actually become real YouTubers this week.
Yep.
We may get this video pulled. You just never know.
It could happen.
There could be a contract out on us, but I don't think people really want to spend money for that.
They'll never find us.
So, we're going to talk about humility in the end of this. We're going to talk about pride first.
Because this has been the month of pride.
Yeah. Actually, June was the Pride Month.
Yeah.
But if you're a United States citizen, what's the real Pride Month?
This month.
Why?
Our independence.
Independence, yes. So I think, the pride that we could get from the Constitution and Declaration of Independence and the founding of this country, which actually provided for things that had not been seen to that extent in the history of mankind that we know about.
Correct.
Equality for people, all the things that we have enjoyed up to this point. Now, we said before, not everybody got to join that party.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to get into the party, and that's great. We want them all here. Mm-hmm. Inclusion is not my enemy.
Right, exactly.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay, so
It's depending on what you're trying to include.
well, exactly so. But so the question then comes: all these Pride months.
Mm-hmm. What are you proud of?
What are you proud of? Exactly. So we might want to define pride. You want to hit that?
Yeah. Definition of pride: a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. The achievements of those whom one is closely associated are from qualities or possessions that are widely admired.
Exactly. So if you apply, and that's from the Webster Dictionary, I think, Merriam-Webster. So you try to balance it against some known value, and I think the dictionary at one point before they started changing it was a known value, right?
Yes,
we use it as a commonplace.
Exactly.
So the USA, the achievements that are admired and emulated worldwide for 200 years now. Mm-hmm. Now that's pride worthy.
Yes.
Now we want to talk about pride in general. Now you've got children. Mm-hmm. They're going to college. You've got a daughter who's got a great job, great future, really pushed and had a lot of benefits having a father like you.
Yeah, good mother.
Some things that maybe some people don't have. But the point is, if you want to be proud of something, look at your children and be proud of that.
Yes.
It's not like wandering around saying, I'm proud of my haircut. There's a difference in there.
Yeah, proud and pride, it's a self thing.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. And so when I talk to people, and I have talked to people about the pride movement and all that, I've got people in my family that are they choose to live that lifestyle, and that's fine.
Same here.
They're doing great.
Don't care.
And they're just trying to have the things that I have: a home, a family, a garden. Go to the blue light special, go down and get yourself a burger. The things that we do in America that were the American way.
Yes.
They just wanted what they wanted, and okay, so that's great. So, before we go further, we need to read the legal disclaimer here because you're probably not going to believe this, but we're going to tell you anyway.
Yes, and this is true. We're not homophobic and have this same message for everyone. Be happy, but keep your privates to yourself. We will reciprocate. That is a promise.
That's a promise. Absolutely. And I would say this to anybody about anything in their life. Have some real pride, value and respect what you expose, make it respectable, not only yourself, but others around you, because it's a test.
Yes.
If people turn up their nose at you all the time, there's a chance that there may be a disconnect there on some side or the other.
Correct.
And the remedy is not to go out in the street, burn down a building or scream and raise hell or go to court. It's like, well, what's really going on here? Find the root cause of the issue. No tin and pun.
Right.
So, exactly. Love who you do what you do, right?
Right.
Everyone deserves to be happy being themselves. I want to be happy.
Yeah.
And if I can be happy with this, anybody can be happy. I swear to God, it can happen. Share what you value with those that are close to you.
Yeah.
Don't use the misguided gender identity spectacle that's going on to gain false acceptance from the crowd. Mm-hmm. No group is going to make you happy.
Never.
No matter how they stroke your ego.
Your ego has you in a chokehold.
Oh, my pronouns are choking me to death. So So again, like we said, we're not homophobic, right?
Right.
Be yourself, be happy,
You do you, I'll do me.
Absolutely. So, but we got a favor to ask of you. What do you think? You think that'll go over? You think people do that?
With this?
Yeah.
What? If we want to see you naked and squirming around, don't call us, we'll call you.
We'll call you. Okay, no problem. So, it reminded me of that song by Gordon Lightfoot. Remember that one?
Yeah, he just recently passed.
Yeah, good song. Sundown?
Yes.
That line in that song, in a room where you do what you don't confess, kind of thing. Yeah. Well, I looked at this. I was watching CNN. I do try to be well-rounded.
You have to,
and it's not just here. I have other well-rounded places. So I rewrote it for YouTube. It's like,
well, how's it go?
I can see they them lying back in their gender mess on a YouTube channel where they them show what they them do confess. I mean. Well, I've got to tell you something. I don't know if they got humility, but they got pride, and they sure don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Just being all out there. You don't have to be that transparent.
Yeah.
These people are more transparent than quality glass.
It's ego on steroids.
Oh, yeah. So this might be, before we get right into the meat and potatoes of it.
There you go.
I was relating that story I saw about some pride. It was somewhere up north. Didn't happen in Florida. DeSantis would have said something about it, but these several grown men were in a pride parade, stark naked,
butt ass naked,
dancing down the street in front of really small children.
So what parent takes their kid to that?
And there's the problem. You can have a fire, but if you stop putting gas on it, maybe it will go out. This tacit approval of some of this outrageous behavior. I mean, I'm 70, you're about 55, 56. So everybody wants equal rights, okay? So we get to express our sexuality in the way that we can without going to jail. And so they should be able to, right? But when in your life have you ever been able to walk down the street naked for any reason? No. You can't even claim that the Lord told you to do it and get away with it. They'll put you away and medicate you till you feel better. So it's gone too far.
In alcohol's defense, I've done plenty of stupid things sober, but that's not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so, a little bit of moderation is not a bad thing. Like in the Buddhist world, the middle way.
Yeah.
Between two extremes is a place where you can be at peace. Okay, it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay there. It's an ongoing practice. I think nobody's in the middle now.
Yeah.
So, except the middle of the street naked, dancing for 4-year-olds. Yeah. So, but this is the thing that you brought up. So, you want to get into this?
I mean, we're literally dealing with 1% or less. The percentages are debatable, of forcing the rest of us to accept everything that they demand. And we have to give up on our rights and privileges, but everything's under attack. Everything's under attack, Jai. Women's sports, the military, public schools, religion, parental rights. Parents are being denied what teachers are going out and doing in front of their children.
Oh, absolutely. And, the thing about that is that to do that, you have to change the meaning of words, which we see as happening.
Constantly.
They come out with this pronouncement, and automatically people go on the defensive. Well, that's not the way it is. You can't accept irrational behavior, truly irrational behavior, or stand that begs the question, is this reality? Now, we can have a conversation. We can test it out. But that's not the end game here. You will comply. Yes. You will comply. And I'm not going to comply. I'm sorry. I'm not going to. I want anybody that has needs and is marginalized, I want us all to be up the same level. Not from the socialist view, but from a quality of opportunity view. And that's a
humanitarian.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? Just to throw this in here, everybody's marching around this country like we've got it the worst on the planet. This world's probably better in this country than it's been for the rest of the world ever.
Oh, it is.
You want some problem? Go to Somalia and take a quick vacation there.
The poorest person in this country is better off than most people in other countries.
Oh, absolutely. So you got this vocal minority, and we're just told to sit down and shut up, or you're a homophobe, or you're this, or you're that, and
But they're also aided by the politicians, most media outlets.
Well, you can't really. They are doing what works for their side, which every side seeks to do. You can try to gain advantage.
Right.
But now it's become an unfair advantage, I think, because it's not representative of the complete population.
Right.
Which this is a problem. So.
Yeah.
So we don't know where it's going to end. The thing about Michigan.
Oh, passing a law on if intentional misuse of pronouns is now a felony.
You can go to jail for 5 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars of fine. And it's the way I understand it, and I'm not a lawyer, wouldn't want to be a lawyer, is that it all comes down to intent. If the person thinks you intended to malign them over their pronouns, it's up to the person that's accusing you to determine when you went across the
Well,
boundary.
that's a he said, she said, or a they said, they, them said.
Again, see how confusing this is?
It just happened in a Starbucks recently where some lady refused to refer to the barista by their proper pronoun, and the guy hit, or whatever he proclaims to be, hit the woman, trying to bring charges against her for misusing his pronouns. What are you supposed to know? I don't know who you are, what you are. You got your hair pink, purple, blue, all together.
Well, my theory on this is I have a name, and if it becomes a big deal, I'll wear my name. Because I like nouns a lot, but I like adjectives better.
Exactly.
Pronouns are not even in the game, So if I'm wanting to be personal, I think that'll come about. The texting and the way people do things now, it's impersonal. They don't want to have a conversation. They want to broadcast their thought to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this whole thing about pronouns is in the same vein. It's not a conversation. It's not, hey, I love the coffee you made me, Julie or Jim or Jack or whoever it is. And so, they, them made a good coffee. It's like, okay.
What did we say the other day? If you can't identify a man or a woman, or can't even define what a man or a woman is, when did it become wrong to hit a woman now?
Well, I don't like hitting anybody.
It's just an old adage.
I would like to hit a lot of people, but I don't like doing it. It's just, if I had a lot of money, maybe I'd have it done. I don't.
Blood is a big expense.
It's a big expense. Don't do it. So, and this is something you brought up too. We have to push back, and then I hate that it's us versus them, or they versus us, or whatever the thing is. But you got to have some point where we come together and talk about this. It's like the war in Ukraine.
Right.
So they actually start talking about things.
Yeah.
It's just going to continue. It's going to get uglier and uglier and uglier, and in the end, it's going to be a lot of destruction and a lot of misery. And this may not get to that point.
Yeah.
But it's a miserable place to be.
Yeah. So there is a pushback to it. I mean, when people are shoving something at you, at some point, people get pushed into a corner, then they come back. I mean, look what's happening right now around the country. People are organizing against these school boards that are pushing all this agenda. You've even got Christians, Muslims, and Jews are coming together. Who would have thought? To fight back against what's being shoved at their children. They're not being told what the curriculum is. Their kids come home and say, this is what I learned in school today, and the parents are aghast.
Yeah. Well, I don't have, any coalition is basically at some level is like we've got to join together because we don't have enough push, we don't have enough resources, whatever, to be heard. So I know in the Middle East there's a very famous saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes.
It's the way they get things done. It doesn't always end well over there like that. But, when you have Christians, Jews, and Muslims saying, get your hands off our kids, stop this nonsense, that's pretty much an indicator that people want to be in a rational place about this. So,
well, you push parents into a corner over their rights to raise their children as they see fit. What do we always talk about?
Mama bear will protect her cubs.
Yeah, it's a part of nature. It's an instinct.
And all you have to do is watch the news in the summertime about the visitors from Ohio trying to pet the bear cubs.
Happens in the Smoky Mountains.
It does not end well. It's a sad thing.
Good.
People really get hurt. So like we have one of our mottos on this, right?
Don't slap the cobra.
Don't poke the bear.
And never point a gun at a police officer.
And we've got a new one.
What is
never allow a school teacher to point a dildo at your first grader. Just don't do it.
That happened.
That really did happen.
You can't make this stuff up.
I couldn't do as well trying to make it up. I can't do fiction as well as they do this.
Reality has become.
So, we're going to close here in a second. And, the old thing about pride cometh before a fall.
Yep.
Like we talked in the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being proud of a true accomplishment than just bold ego pride.
Yeah, arrogance at its extreme.
Arrogance at its extreme. So it's not going to work really well.
Yeah.
Like we said, your prideful ego will put you in a chokehold.
Yeah.
And it's a whole nother ball game, right?
Yeah. So our suggestion, how about instead of let's try some humility on for size?
Yeah, humility is, it gets a bad name being humble. You know, it came to mean low life, not low life, but lowly and simple, whatever. Humility is a great attribute. It allows you the space to make a space for things that are going on around you.
Yeah.
It gives you the space to respond and to contemplate what's actually going on, and it sets a standard.
Right.
It sets, okay, this is a precedent I want to set. I want to be a nice, kind person. I want to help you get what you got. You want to legislate my freedoms. You want to come out in the street and do weird things. Somewhere we have to come to a compromise between your pride and general humility for the whole group to allow us to have everything for everybody.
Yeah. Well, again, from Merriam-Webster, freedom from pride or arrogance, the quality or state of being humble.
Being humble. And you know, swallowing your pride, you've heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I had to swallow my pride.
Oh.
You know, I couldn't go to the bathroom for a week after that. I was all clogged up.
In the South, we say we had to eat crow.
We had to eat crow. You know, I think they still do that in Alabama. I think it's a specialty. But I like Alabama, so don't get upset.
Yeah.
So, you know, but the message is, we always quote Mahatma Gandhi at the end of this thing. And people are probably tired of that because he had have a big following here in East Tennessee. But, you know, and we mention this every week, that he expressed a universal truth when he said, my life is my message. It's true for all of us. We're sending a message, right? Always.
Yep.
What are the messages you're sending? He also is quoted as saying, you know, be the change you want to be. And that sounds really great. A lot of people use that now. But I'd like to read the actual quote because it's so much more profound.
Right.
I think he wrote this in 1914, 1911, something. He was practicing law. And it says, we but mirror the world. All the tendency present in the outer world are to be found in the whole world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is a divine mystery supreme. That's how he put it. A wonderful thing it is, and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do.
Right. Yeah. It starts with you.
If you wait long enough at the buffet, it's all picked over when you get there, and you're not going to be happy, right?
Exactly.
You have a part to play. All beings want happy life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Get through this thing while we can, smiling as often as we can.
Yeah.
And so, to wrap up, the 4th of July is in a couple of days. And if you live in this country, it's what they say about reparations, that we should all pay reparations because of the privilege that we had after. Okay, that's an argument that's being made, okay?
Right.
And so this is not going to be about that, but an analogy. Old Glory, the founding of our country, okay, is a benefit to all of us. It's a heritage we all share, and we should all share in. That should be the goal, making sure that everybody has those rights and privileges, right?
Yep.
And so that's some pride we could take, that we have a country in which we can still do that for the citizens of this country.
Yes.
And so if you don't recognize it, if you don't value that, you want to avail yourself of that or the opportunity to get there. And I understand that a lot of people are marginalized, as they say, and at the end of the rope. But you've got to find a point at which the value proposition will make for a culture that will allow everyone, including yourself, to get where you want to go.
Right.
And, you know, the symbol of Old Glory and the 4th of July is a day. It's a day of promise. We haven't fulfilled all the promises for everybody, but it is the promise. And it's in stone there. It's in the law.
Yep.
And all the people that maybe are marginalized, especially in terms of the Pride Month, the gay community, the LGBT thing, they all have legal rights now. They get married. Their freedom from prosecution for what they do, all the things that were illegal.
They wouldn't have that without the way our country is set up.
And now they have it on paper, and in a secular society, they have all the rights and privileges. It may take a long time for people to accept all of it.
Right.
But we're still on the front end of all that. But they have things in this country. You couldn't do that in Iran. You couldn't do it in Somalia, parts of Africa. You just disappear. You become goat feed or something. I don't know what they do with you. So the point is, you live in that country that's allowing you the opportunity to get to this point. Don't throw that away. Don't forget it. And try, even though you might be opposed to it at this point, to have some pride in the country and the system that's pushing forward to make this happen. So that should humble you, that you live at a point in history where you have these things and you still have the hope and the promise that you can get there.
Yeah.
We all have to work to it, right?
Yes.
So to end it on a light note, you know, I don't want to be too picky about this, but I want the rainbow back.
Took our rainbow.
I want the
It
rainbow.
was everybody.
It was everybody's rainbow. But to sum this up and get off the channel today, you do you,
I'll do me.
I'll do me, and we'll build a space between us where we don't bump into each other all the time, and we'll see where that takes us. It'll give us a bit of space in all the conflict.
We need space.
We need space.
You need your space. I need my space. These people need their space. But when you start trying to cram it together and force it down people's throats, that is the problem.
People recoil from that.
Yes.
And everybody on each side of this needs to be friendlier.
Yes, absolutely.
Practice the old story, walk a mile in the other man's shoes. Mm-hmm. Now, some of those shoes are a little light for me, but that's their choice, not me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not
Laces
going to...
versus loafers.
Exactly. But, you know, and we sound like a bunch of old homophobes. I'm sorry for that. But, you know,
We're not.
things take a long time to change,
Uh,
and our heart's in the right place. And we just want to help get through this for everybody because it's uncomfortable. But any change, any huge change like what's occurring is hard and it takes time. But if your boat just sank and you have 4 people in a raft, you don't start punching holes in it because you don't like the color of the raft. You got to work together, friends.
yeah. Yes.
So I think that's all I have. What about you?
That's it.
That's it. You don't want to say anything else?
No, we're good.
Okay. I wasn't going to mention the shirt either. So, well, till next time, if there is a next time, have a great 4th of July. And remember that everything you have and everything we have available to in this country is rooted in the founding of this country. And it's provided a lot and will provide a lot to all of us if we utilize that promise and we don't tear it up in a
try to
moment,
change it.
in a moment's bit of angst and anger. Let it be what it is and let us help us all get where we need to be.
Absolutely.
All right?
BarstoolBuddhas out.
We're out of here. If I can find the off button.